So our opinion is not biased and this is based from our own experience and what we observe. We are not trying to say anything bad about Philippines and America. It's our country and we loved it.
Hello guys, welcome back to Shandol channel. In this video, we are going to share with you the cultural differences between Filipino and American.
Okay. Hi, guys. So, what do you have as your first topic?
So, Filipino, we have this close family ties. So, what is close family ties? So, as I can um as I define it is like right now, even if I'm far away from my family, still I get this communication to them, and every day we still video call or talk to messenger. So we never stop
Communication.
yeah, we never stop communication. So the point there is we still have this
Tight knit bond.
yeah, right.
It's a bond where they live together, the family. When the kids turn 18, if they don't leave the country to work abroad, they continue to live at home and work. The family all works together as one machine for the common purpose to keep the boat afloat.
Yeah.
In the United States, basically what I've seen living here my whole life and growing up here is we flew. It's what we call flying the coop. At 18 years old, you go get a job. You work 40 hours a week. You get your own apartment. You save up. You buy a house. You just visit your parents on a couple holidays a year for about 4 hours, and
It says if you are the birthday celebrant or you have to spend for your party or treat. So in many years of my existence, it's always been the same. You have to invite people, and at the same time, you will be the one to feed them or cook for them. While for Americans,
it's your birthday. It's your special day. You do nothing. Maybe your friends, depends on the kind of lifestyle you live, but maybe your friends will pick you up, take you out to breakfast, and pay for your coffee, pay for your meal at a restaurant. Maybe they'll take you out to have some beers and go bowling. Maybe they'll take you to a baseball, professional NBA basketball or baseball game, but you will pay absolutely nothing on that day. Not one penny out of your pocket, including transportation.
now we have this Filipino time. We called Filipino time, where everybody should be on time, but Filipino most often be like an hour late from the expected time they have to be there. But so far, me as a Filipino, I value the time. I always come on time. And especially now that I'm here in America, I always look forward to be on time because that's how they are here.
Yes. If you were to come to the United States or if you were to live in the Philippines but date an American, it's going to be expected that you're on time 99% of the time. It's okay to be late. If you have your own vehicle and you run out of gas or you have some vehicle problems, or if you miss your transportation, you're having trouble getting transportation, a tricycle driver or a taxi. Um, but that's the exception. It's not the rule. It's expected. If somebody says we need to meet at Starbucks at 2 p.m., you need to be there about 1:55 or 2. You need to be there just probably even a little bit before the actual agreed upon time. They do not want. It's going to be very irritating to your American if you're if you sitting there drinking a coffee for 45 minutes waiting for you. He could have. He did not. He could have also left 45 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it on your own time. it's not, there's no excuse for it. I mean, you have to be to school on time, you have to be to work on time, or you would get fired. There's no reason to show up to a coffee date 45 minutes late several times in a row.
Yep. Next is usage of scooper or tabo and bucket or balde when we shower. So as a Filipino, that is our means of or material we use when we shower, because we most of the household or houses in the Philippines don't have shower, so we use that, and it's a water saver for us.
That's the word for it. Instead of using toilet paper, you physically wash, right? And that's the way that I would describe it best as an American.
We're here in America.
In the United States, we just use toilet paper.
Yeah, that's what they use.
One shower a day, and outside of that, it's toilet paper in between your one shower per day.
Saying I love you is not common to us Filipino, although it's shown by actions speak louder than word. In here,
you say I love you, I love my snuggle bunny, I love my sweetie pie.
yeah, it's like any time of the day you will hear, or I hear my husband say that to me, and I am learning to. So it's like it's things that I've learned here, or yeah, it's sharing of your feelings. Where in the Philippines we action speaks louder than word. Although we can't say it verbally, we are just or showing it by what we are or what we can do for the person that you are showing your.
So in the Philippines, you don't see couples holding hands, and maybe while they're walking around the grocery store holding hands, they give a little friendly kiss to the cheek. Is that not standard operating procedure in the Philippines?
Maybe because we have this we don't do the public display of affection. It's like if you do that, mostly you're concerned to what others thinks of you or what you're doing. So doing the or saying that or showing that in public is like it's a private. It's,
right. It's not how we do it.
Yeah.
It's not like we're kissing all the time, but on a 1 hour shopping trip, one or two little kisses while holding hands is not out of the ordinary.
It's like I'm surprised here and there you'll see people doing the public display of affection, and like you don't, out of the blue you'll see people kiss, hug in front of you, which is it's common. Filipino, we have this thing where when we arrive or we go to places or houses or in your houses, you have to take off your shoes from outside, and you don't bring it inside the house and walk around.
In the United States, that's kind of a case by case basis. More often than not, it's you don't need to take off your shoes to come into somebody's house. But some people have brand new carpets, and it's expected that you take off your shoes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call it the 70-30 rule. 70% of the time, you can just walk right in. Your number one, your rubber shoes are hard on the carpets, and number two,
Only two.
you're spreading dirt in their house and tracking in dirt or whatever you may have.
Next is hospitality. So Filipino are known for being hospitable, whereas we cater for, when we invite people, we cook so much food to them, and if they stayed in your house, you prepare something or a nice room for them to stay on, and yeah, we are just nice to
Hospitable.
nice to or not being friendly, but just being nice. to
I would say being hospitable in the United States is also a case-by-case basis. If somebody invites you to their home for a party, it's expected that whoever's the host is the person who owns the home that's inviting you.
Filipinos are nice and friendly, but we don't say hi or hello to, or say good morning or good afternoon, good evening to people that you just met along the way. It's like Filipino are nice and we smile most often, but here Philippine Americans are overly friendly, which Filipino can be um,
Misinterpret
yeah,
misinterpret your friendliness for maybe something that's isn't just normal common friendliness.
yeah. Sometimes along the way they'll meet person and they'll say hi, hello, or good morning, good afternoon. Even if you don't know them, they tend to be
If you're
nice.
if you're a cashier at a grocery store, it's gonna actually be much more common.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Filipina and you're just a cashier in a grocery store, for someone to say, "Hey, sweetheart, how's everything going today?"
Yeah.
And they're not asking you for a date. They're not trying to steal you away from your husband. And if their wife was be standing right beside them, they would more often than not just say the same exact thing. And you'll even find elderly ladies say the same thing.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetheart.
I know, but and then that's also different, or that's the difference is that we don't put label or say that to your
Right.
to
Your
your
significant other.
yeah. That shocked me here when it's like in a brief moment I was like, why did he call or she called me, you know.
Right.
That's really uncommon to Filipino. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, um we always wants to eat and loves to eat with rice. Whereas here in America,
We have rice once in a while.
yep.
You buy a bag of rice that costs $10 and it lasts you one whole year. And you break out your rice cooker and you make about 2 cups of rice. You don't eat it by itself. You always pour something over it.
Yes.
A soup or something that's...
Yeah, and also what I noticed here is only food that there's rice that served is burrito.
The burrito, that comes from Mexico.
Yeah, but
originated.
yeah, but I mean it's everywhere. Here you can
Right,
buy it everywhere. But
and Chinese foods. These are Chinese
yes,
foods.
they have rice. Yeah, right. But I mean, it's seasoned rice. Where in the Philippines we have the steamed rice, just rice by itself, and the dish comes with rice.
If you go to a restaurant in the United States and you say, I want a bacon and eggs breakfast, it's going to come with hash browns, which are potatoes thrown on the griddle. It's not going to come with rice.
Yeah.
And rice is not going to even be on the menu.
Yeah.
If you say, can I get rice instead of hash browns as a substitute? We don't have rice on the menu.
So, in the Philippines, as I really noticed, and I think this is also a fact, is rules are often not being followed in the Philippines. Like, as an example is the traffic law, road signs, and people are not wearing helmets and not...
The man will be wearing a helmet. His wife will sitting behind him on a motorcycle with no helmet. She'll have a baby on each knee. He'll have a baby sitting on the gas tank in front of him, and he'll be the only one wearing a helmet.
Yeah, where is the safety there?
There's no... I don't even understand why he's wearing a helmet at that point. He's the only one that has control of the vehicle.
And also, I want to point out the traffic signs. Whereas here,
They
you
don't.
have to follow the traffic sign and the flow of the traffic.
If there's a stopping sign, if you're in the Philippines on a tricycle, I don't know about every island, but when you go to a more remote island, and she could tell more about this than I could. And most of you guys could leave a comment and tell more about this than I could, but they don't stop at stop signs. If you want to get over, you just start getting over, and people have to move whether they want to or not. You know, if two people smack a tricycle driver, two people smack tricycles together, they just jump out and yell at each other, and they go on about their
And
business.
what's funny is if you have the 4 intersections, you don't know you don't have here it's a chaos. You don't have, unlike here in 4 intersection, it's followed which one,
Right.
which first stop is you give way.
Right. If you're going straight and you both stop at the stop sign at the same time, you automatically yield to the person to your right. You don't just get there at same time as him and go forward and cut your turn in.
Yeah.
So you have to stop at stop signs. Everybody yields to the person at their right, and then if 4 people hits a 4-way stop at the same time, everybody knows who gets to go first. And nowadays in the United States, all your traffic stop signs have cameras, so you start getting tickets in the mail.
I know,
That adds
which
up.
is really good.
It's going to add up very fast if you're not cooperating. You lose your driver's license. It's serious business.
Yeah, which is we should impose in the Philippines, and it's really
And when we went to the Underground River tour,
Yeah.
is it Palawan, Puerto Princesa?
Yes.
And when I was driving back, the whole time I was there, they was driving like 100 miles an hour, and nobody was wearing their seatbelt, including the driver.
Yes.
And they had a little metal bracket that said, "If you don't like our safe driving, call this number," and someone had scratched it out.
Yeah.
And then they
and
drove.
even if you call and report, there's nobody will.
Right. And they drove 100 miles an hour on
Care.
the way back, and they were passing them with no blinkers.
Yeah, and there's some signs of how much kilometer per hour you should ride, but they're over.
They're just going. They're just flying.
Yeah.
They don't.
So expect when you're in the Philippines, or everybody I know already knows this.
Now, are tricycle drivers legally allowed to wear helmets in the Philippines?
Well,
I'm talking what they should or shouldn't do. I'm talking from a legal standpoint.
No, they're not, because it's already,
because they have a third wheel.
Yeah.
And it's enclosed.
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
it. So, right.
Okay. Well, if they're legally not allowed to wear them, and nobody in a tricycle has to wear seatbelts.
No, it's not made with seatbelts.
I understand.
But through 4 wheels, you should.
Well, there's 3 wheels, or there's 4.
I know.
But either way, but even on 2 wheels, there's more people not wearing helmets than wearing them.
Yeah.
And you legally have
they
to wear
have
one?
this. They will make a law, but it's not being followed.
No, but there's nobody to say you have to.
Yeah.
Follow
Maybe
this law.
Filipinos, or as I can say, we are just hard-headed.
Yeah.
Filipino gets or tends to be tampo, or in English is sulking.
Sulking, or else silent treatment.
Yeah. So.
It's like, I'm not going to tell you why I'm mad at you, but I'm going to punish you by refusing to tell you why I'm mad, but by denying you emotional love, or however you want to call it, whatever.
But
the most
yeah, but
is.
I mean, for us, figure it out yourself. You should know the root of why I am sulking or tampo to you.
Yeah.
Like Filipino minds is like.
Which is great if you really know for real and are just playing dumb. But if you legitimately don't know, then the entire thing is of no help to you whatsoever.
I know, but for us Filipino, when we're tampo on something, we are like thinking in our minds, the root or the cause of why we are tampo, even if it's just a little things. But and the reverse is, men or Americans really don't know what makes us tampo. So we should have a communication when it comes to that tampo thing, because they don't know.
Maybe it's a cultural difference.
It is really a cultural
Maybe I'm
difference.
upset because of this, And that's something that your entire life with a mom and sisters and ex-girlfriends and ex-wives has never been, it's only been an issue to this one foreign girl. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It could be sometimes something.
Are you mad that I forgot Valentine's Day 3 years ago? I'm totally confused
Yeah,
right now.
some are digging up the past can be also the
Right.
cause of tampo thing. But yeah, we are just very Filipino are just tampo. Easily get tampo.
American women, let us know why they're upset, and we
talk things out.
we don't, and not even well, it depends on maybe they'll, instead of just being quiet, they'll still do the tompo thing, but they'll slam cupboard doors and walk around, and when they go to the bedroom or go to the bathroom, they'll slam the door extra hard. So we know they're upset.
Whereas Filipino, we do the silent treatment of
Right.
to show we are upset or tampo.
But if you go to a convenience store and you say, "Sweetheart, can I get a $5 cash withdrawal on my debit? I'm going to write my check for $20 over, or I'm going to swipe my debit card and get $20 back." And the fact that you referred to the cashier as sweetheart isn't going to upset your American wife or girlfriend, because that's going to be standard procedure. And if you're married to a Filipina, that might be what bothers her. And on your list of things that bothers her, that's not even on the list. So you're trying to check all.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I've checked off the last of the possible things that you're mad at me for. And I still don't know what it is.
Yes.
I would just come clean and say that I'm upset because you called a waitress sweetheart when she brought you your coffee before you was ready for it.
I know.
And just be done with it.
Right. So the thing is, now that I'm here in America, it's something that you've learned over time that you should not be tampo on this thing. You have to talk things out to make the tampo,
Right. And I will say one thing. I don't even think you have this on your paperwork, but this is just now coming to my mind. American guys, especially in my opinion, white American guys, they'll say things that you may think is racist or that might hurt your feelings, but they're actually being friendly because they're talking to you, an immigrant or a minority, in the same way that they would talk to another white person. And some immigrants take it as a gesture of friendship. You're treating me the same as everyone else. And some get their feelings hurt. So my advice would be, tell them it hurts your feelings instead of just keeping quiet and refusing to tell them why you're wrong and giving them the silent treatment. Maybe they'll apologize and not do it again. Maybe you just weren't meant to be friends and you're just better off without each other with each other. But there's no point in punishing them and not telling them why.
Philippines, we have restaurants that they have the common area where they have the washroom, they have sinks to wash your hands, and they provide less napkins in the table so that they can pay less with or pay less with their.
If you want to go to the Philippines, you're not, if your idea of a good dining experience is paying more for your food but having way more napkins to clean yourself up, Philippines is a bad place to dine. You're gonna get, the food's gonna be cheaper and there's gonna be way less napkins available to you. And when they go to the bathroom, and this isn't really true at America, like Shakey's and McDonald's and stuff, but when you go to a Filipino restaurant, it was a nice restaurant and we enjoyed the meal and everybody was very friendly. But everybody, including the kitchen help and including the paying customers, they went to the bathroom, they used the bathroom, they came out and there was one towel and everybody dried their hands on the same towel.
Which is not
culturally something that is acceptable to me and most Americans.
And I just noticed that when you bring it up to me, or it should not. They should change the towels or they provide at least?
Well, I know you washed your hands and I know you dried your hands off on that towel, but I don't know that you thoroughly washed your hands correctly. And in the United States, we have to have a food handler's permit before you can work in a restaurant. I don't know if the person who, he probably never worked in a restaurant in his life. He might not have thorough, this is how you wash, you have to, in the United States, you have to wash your hands for 33 seconds under hot water and soap. It's required by law to work in a restaurant.
Yeah, I think in the Philippines too, they have a permit, working permit, food handler's permit.
Yeah, but the paying customer that uses the restaurant and comes out and doesn't properly wash his hands, he doesn't have that permit.
Yeah.
And he's touching his hands on the same towel as the people that cook your food.
Yes, that's what we don't know. So, yeah, paying customer, especially foreign people, would expect to have
their own personal towel to wash their hand, whether it's a disposable towel that you throw in the garbage or an air drying thing where they blow hot water on your hands. Yeah. You're expecting to dry your hands with something that has never been touched by another human in the establishment.
Yep. Means we all know that when you're in high school and college, you're still a responsibility of your parents, where they send you to school, provide what you need, and so pretty much you're reluctant, not thinking about getting a job. So that's why what I notice is most places don't hire high school with their diploma or part-timers, is because they're also bombarded, or students are bombarded with the schedule and you know, classes, and
employers just simply don't want to hire somebody who's attending high school or college.
Yeah, but I mean, employers also have the requirements of who they hire. You have to have.
Is this the government's requirements or is this the individual employer's requirements?
I think it's both. But I mean,
because the government can say,
well, at least if you're already 18 and above, but most employers has these requirements.
Yeah. See, in the United States, if you want to work at McDonald's, Burger King, if you want to work at fast foods, if you want to clean at a hotel, there's rules for people under the age of 18, but the rules are you can't work past like 11 at night. There's rules. You can't work a job where the equipment could cut off a finger, like you can't, use carpentry and do saws. But as far as flipping cheeseburgers in a restaurant or putting French fries in boiling oil at McDonald's, you can work in these jobs at 16 years old without a high school diploma.
I know, which is really nice. You can make your own money.
And you're working part-time and living with your parents, but it's very common in the United States for your parents to say, well, 50%, get a job at McDonald's. You don't even have a high school diploma yet, but you get a job at McDonald's. Half your check's your personal allowance to do everything you want with, no questions asked. Yes. The other half goes into a college fund. So you're able to take a girl to a dance and pay for the student, pay for her to get pictures with your high school prom dance. And you're also able to buy a car and to put gasoline in your car.
Yeah.
And then you learn the value of the US dollar. You also understand, wow, I can almost do very little with part-time of a minimum wage job. And the plan is for that to help you catapult you into life. Making $10 an hour flipping burgers for 20 hours is rough. I don't know how my mom did it for all these years. So the plan is number one, for you to get an early start, and number two, for you to have a greater appreciation for what your parents had to do for you to have that luxury.
Yeah, which is really nice. In the Philippines, it's like you can, I mean, some I know really
Yeah.
wants to get a job while they're studying, and but at the same time the requirements of the employees really don't make them um, pass that
Right.
requirements.
I graduated high school in 1995, and I really don't know what's going on exactly right now or how the times have changed. And it's been like 25 years since I was a senior in high school, in the ballpark of that, anyways. And when I graduated high school, it was expected that every student either had a part time job at a McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Sherry's or some out of school. When you was done with school, you either A had a part-time job or you B was involved in some kind of extracurricular activity. You had to either be on the football team, the wrestling team, the baseball team, the basketball team. If you're a female, you had to be on the cheer. It was expected that you was a cheerleader. You needed to be involved in something. Then we had track and field, which was co-ed, both female and male sports. It was expected that you would either went right into the line of work and got and understood the value of a dollar, or you had an extra, like you need to, when school's out, you need to go somewhere and continue to be productive for a few hours.
I know that is really cool.
Like if you want to flip burgers for $5 an hour, you can go do that.
But at the same time, in the Philippines, that's the reason why they students can't have a job is because they are bombarded with academics.
See, academics is
and all of the activities in school, so they can't balance the schedule, and which is I felt sad about that.
So you Filipinos. It's okay to not have a job your junior and senior year in high school if you're playing basketball and football and baseball, or if you're a female who's cheerleading. But it's not acceptable to just sit on your parents' couch and play video games, not be involved in sports, not work.
Yep.
And that's just the standard. It's like we don't care what you're doing as long as it's something productive. That's what from what I understand, the high schools now in the United States are not as good as they were when I.
Not last but not the least, the helping out the family. So in our culture, we have this thing where we help out our parents, our brothers, and give them support.
Let me ask my wife a question. The plan of the Filipino, and you correct me if I'm wrong, and I guess it's changing a little bit as time goes by, but the plan is you have a bunch of babies so that when you're too old to work, you have created offspring that can help you.
Yeah, that's their mindset.
That's their mindset. And in the United States, it's the absolute opposite. I'm thinking Canada and Australia is all the opposite too. I'm thinking all the West is opposite. For the most, it's starting to change a little bit. You're starting to have younger kids that aren't as respectful as the offspring before them, but where your responsibility is to put your kids through high school, to put your kids through college, and when you die, to leave them a small inheritance. They're not supposed to live. They're supposed to have the ability to provide for themselves, but the parent is never ever supposed to be a burden to the kid. That's not a lifetime goal. Dying, having been a burden to your children, is not a positive thing in the United States. It's seen as a negative.
Yeah, but in the Philippines, what our takes on that is your parents provided you a good school.
Right.
You went to good school. You had your elementary to college. So in return, you should help your just as pay and respect to your parents.
Honor thy parents. That's in the Bible. It's very
so
clear.
You help out your brothers or your siblings.
Right.
Or support system.
So in the United States, in my opinion and my experience, it's expected that you have the ability to give a good life for a wife and kids prior to creating more life. and you expect nothing. Just simply watching them graduate high school and giving them a high five when they hit a home run for the
Yeah.
local baseball team. That's all the payback you need.
It's nice. It's a parent's responsibility.
It's like, I didn't bring in the world because I wanted a return on my investment. I brought you in the world just because I enjoyed watching you grow and being my cool buddy. That's how I view it.
Which is nice.
It's nice, and we also live in a country where there's welfare and food stamps and Social Security disability for those who are hurt before they're of an age where they can collect Social Security. It's nice, but it also just isn't not plausible in some countries.
Mm-hmm.
The option just off the table or on the table, depending on what country you're born and raised in.
Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the subscribe, like, and share button if you like this video. Thank you.